Hey, yo, welcome back to the Nugget and Beyond. Week 1 of college football is down in the books, and we have actually two teams made, actually technically they're in week 2 in a way. They did, we had number 22 Iowa State and 17 Kansas State play week 0 in Dublin, Ireland for the Aer Lingus Classic out there, with Iowa State winning that one. So they gave Kansas State their first upset of the season there as they won 24-21. So a very close game, of course, right there. But yeah, then we of course had along the way we had some big blowouts for major upsets, or just the other way where the team that should have won, and they won by a big margin. And we had some very close games that looked like the offense just wasn't really clicking, but the defense definitely was. So we'll get right into this here as we have number 25, Boise State, gets smacked by South Florida in this one. It's 34-7 with the only points for Boise State coming in the first quarter. Meanwhile, South Florida came in every other quarter with 10, 14, and 10 coming in with that. And it just looked like Boise State was missing Denty already. So kind of be an interesting season with how Boise State kind of flips the script again and says, hey, like, we're still the team who we were last year, although we were missing Denty, and we're missing Denty this year. But yeah, I'm not really sure if Boise State could be a team to look at this year much longer. There, obviously, it is week 1 for most of these teams except for obviously Iowa State and Kansas State. Maybe there are some growing pains, which we'll get to for some of these teams in general. But yeah, it's not looking good for Boise State in the start of the season here against unranked. So let's open it a little bit here for Western Illinois, unranked, going against number 12 Illinois. And complete opposite here, Illinois destroyed Western Illinois in this one, 52-3, with the only points coming for Western Illinois. Complete opposite, coming in the last part of the game with the field goal here. And Illinois just, of course, just every quarter had some kind of points going at some point. Then we go to probably one of the best games of the weekend here, with with probably the lowest ranks you can get unless it was 1 and 2. But we have here number 1 Texas and number 3 Ohio State, and of course a rematch of last year's in last year's playoffs, where we had Iowa State winning this one. And of course we're now in the Manning era for Texas, as he sat out for the last couple of years. And he did have a couple games here along the way, and he did have one loss, and yeah, the other games he blew everyone out. But this is his first time on the road against a top 5 team in the country, and definitely some growing pains coming along with this one. Going 17 for 30 with 170 yards, 1 touchdown interception here in this one. But yeah, this is going to be a weird one, as it looked like the offenses for both sides were being very conservative. We didn't have a lot of big plays. I'm sure if either side really had like those big plays go along, they would have just kept on slinging down big plays. But nothing was really connecting. As we had Manning barely going over 500 in his completions here. Some were not great throws. Some were just drop passes in general. But again, for both sides, not just even Texas, both sides looked very conservative with their offense. But defenses for both sides absolutely dominate. Were just that much better than each other's offenses. As it was a very close one, 14-7. So we're probably gonna have a switch of rankings here with them too, but it's not gonna be a major thing. Again, it is the first season, and you're coming off of the defending champs in a reunion of last year's playoffs. And we're also, I think we did lose Manning out of the Heisman favorite in this one. Obviously, he can work himself back. It is only week 1. And yeah, we gotta keep all that stuff in mind here with all these games. You gotta give at least a week to some of them. Maybe, granted, they do have their offense with Sarkisian here, basically built around Manning. So, for the most part, it should work pretty seamlessly for him. But he did pretty well with whatever offense they had last year for him. It worked pretty well. But again, he didn't play against any insane teams last year as he came into this one against number 3 Iowa State. This is also a reason why they were also where they were the favorite in this one. By actually, I think it was less. I think it was 2 points. I think it was just less than 2 points. I think 1.5 point favorites in this one for Iowa State. Obviously, didn't end up like that one, but yeah. But next we go to number 2, Penn State against unranked Nevada, as we have Penn State killing this one, 46-11. And yeah, just another really say that's kind of what you expect number 2 team to go in and just basically kind of have their way up to a point here, as we have Aller for Penn State going 22 for 26, 217 yards with a touchdown in this one. So yeah, that's not really much to say, just a very good game for them. Next, we have a big upset as we have number 9 LSU beating number 4 Clemson 17-10. Not a crazy big score game, but got the job done with Newsenheimer going with he had 130 230 yards, 28 for 38 and 1 touchdown, as they had a very good game there. That's a very big SEC ACC competition right there. Could help out LSU there in the end of the season if they're looking for some big wins to help push them along into the in playoffs. Obviously, beating a number 4 team as your first game is not too bad to start the season there. Next, got number 5 Georgia against unranked Marshall, and again, as we kind of expected, a very big win here for Georgia, 45-7. As for the only points coming from Marshall, fourth quarter with the 7 points there. We had Stockton for Georgia going 14 for 24, 190 yards with 2 touchdowns in this. So, yeah, this is just, that was, again, not something we can really say, hey, like, that was not expected, because it 100% was. So, it's good to see some of these games that were kind of meant for blowouts were practically blowouts in that case. So, but we got a little bit of the opposite one. We got here for number 7, we have Oregon going against Montana State, as we have them also blowing out Montana State here, 59-13, with more going for Oregon, 18 for 23, 213 yards with 3 touchdowns, which that is actually ridiculous if you think about it. 23 completions with 213 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's actually very, very good. So that's a very high percentage of efficiency. There's the word, efficiency on that for Oregon, with 59 points coming off of only 213. That I can't think I could just say those numbers repeatedly and it won't get less crazy. Actually, I think it'll get more crazy if you think about it. If you just keep on repeating how crazy the stats are. Next, we have this is probably the biggest upset here this weekend, week 1. We have number 8 Alabama going against unranked Florida State, as we have Florida State winning this one 31-17. Just flat out crazy for that. And yeah, we gotta look into this one here for this one. And looking at this one here for our score, we actually have no touchdowns coming from a Florida State pass. QB Castellanos with 9 completions on 14 throws, 152 yards, but nothing. He didn't have any touchdowns or interceptions, so not terrible. 83.6 for QBR. We had all the points coming from, it looks like rushing. We had one from Castellanos, so he did get a personal touchdown. We had Mike Danzy for rushing. We had Gavin Swacek for rushing, and Kazi Holmes for rushing here along the way. And I don't think there's any actual touchdowns coming from defense here at all. Yeah, no, it was just all rushing from either QB Castellanos or just in general the running backs for them. So that is a very big solid win for Florida State coming into this season here. But yeah, then we had Arizona doing the work that they need to. Number 11 Arizona State going against Northern Arizona, as we had ASU winning this one pretty handily, 38-19, with Leavitt going for 25 of 39, 267 yards and 2 touchdowns for Arizona, with Leavitt also going for rushing for 7 carries and 73 yards. So very good balance there for passing and running for him. Then we had number 14 Michigan going against unranked New Mexico. Again, taking care of business just like they should. 34-17 for number 14 Michigan there. And this is, I feel sorry for Long Island University. So yeah, this is not really that what you wanted to see for them. I think that he actually showed a picture, and it was like a third of the like the entire team plus staff for Long Island University was like half of what the Florida team like players looked like in general, and then you have about 30 staff around them. It was actually crazy. Obviously, we all know the big difference between Florida and Long Island University's size in general, but with them coming in 15, they 100% were just like, yeah, we can't take any game off right here at all. This is just obviously the start to this. We can't lose this one. They came in and destroyed them 55-0. I'm sorry, Long Island. Yeah, kind of had zero chance in this one to a point. With Jones Jr. for Florida coming with 12 of 18, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns here. Let's see. We gotta have more. We gotta have like touchdowns from the defense coming in here. Yeah, we have a defense from Aaron Gates getting a touchdown in this. Yeah, it's actually. Why does it seem like they should have had so many more touchdowns here? So we have receiving, we have one from Hayden Hansen, we have one from Tony Livingston, one Taylor Spadero, and Michael Stavident. And I'm probably saying those names wrong. Sorry about that. And we have Eugene Lowe's in the third coming in with the touchdown also. We also have that's actually what they did. They brought in the second QB here, DJ Lagway, for 15 of 18. So exact same amount of throws, just actually more completions on that, with 120 yards and 3 touchdowns. So there we go. I was looking, I was like, why am I not seeing enough touchdowns there? Yeah, so that was just coming in. Just, hey, come down here, get this. I'm sure that I'm sure that Long Island probably actually got some money for it, I would think. Then we got number 16 SMU against East Texas A&M here, and 42-13 for SMU. No surprise there, as we have Jennings for SMU going for 22 of 30, 260 yards and 2 touchdowns. Next we have North Dakota against 17 Kansas State. And we got a very close one here. We got Kansas State just edging out here, 38-35 against North Dakota. As yeah, we have actually Johnson. I'm having a very good game here, 28 of 43. So a lot of throwing for 318 yards and 3 touchdowns. That just shows how insane North Dakota was in this one. If they're really gonna match up there, as yeah, we have just a lot of touchdowns coming from rushing for North Dakota, as we have 2 coming from 2 players, Sayre Siddle of North Dakota, and also Jerry Kaminsky, both of them coming in with 2 touchdowns, and Jerry Kaminsky having a actual throwing touchdown. So he ran in for 2 and threw for 1. Very good there. And then receiving, we have Corey Ty, and yeah, I think that's it for the receiving there. I hope I'm saying those names right here. Yeah, do they have any touchdowns coming from the defense here on either side? Defense. Nope, doesn't look like it. Nope. So actually, very, very close game for a top 25 team against an unranked there. And North Dakota, congrats to you, North Dakota, on that one. Next we have unranked Illinois State against 18 Oklahoma. Absolutely just taking care of business, 35-3 on this one for Oklahoma. Just Mater coming in here, 30 of 37, 392 yards with 3 touchdowns. Wow, holy God, that's both efficient and just great accuracy, and also just their receivers were able to hold on to the ball. Only 70 completions or drops in this one for almost 400 yards. So hey, that's it actually seems like it should be a higher score for Oklahoma if it was almost 400 yards. So congrats on that. But and we got number 19 Texas A&M against unranked UTSA, and we got actually completely flipped around number here. We got 42 against 24 as the final score, with Reed for A&M going 22 of 34 with 289 yards and 4 tutties in this. And we got going to number 20 Indiana against unranked Old Dominion, and hey, this is this is actually a very decent score for both sides. 27-14 for Indiana. Hey, not letting down for Old Dominion here, getting 14 in this. First and last quarter of the game. Hey, man, why not? Why not? Just couldn't get anything really in the middle there of that. Then we got unranked Georgia State against 21 Ole Miss. 63-7 in this one. So just, again, taking care of business in the way it should be with Simmons for Ole Miss coming for 20 of 31, almost 400 yards. Well, not really. We want more of 350 yards in this, with 341 to be exact, and 3 touchdowns. So, hey, just some of these players are just able to go off in some of them. Then we got the second game for Iowa State going against unranked South Dakota. And this one was just insane. The offense for Iowa State was going off. As we have 55-7 as the final score. And I think actually in this one, we had the record distance for a field goal in this at 63 yards, breaking not only Iowa State's record and team record, but also the stadium's record, which is, let's see if I can find out where the stadium is. Nope, just the where they were. It was the record for that stadium as well. So it was an insane thing. It actually just like kind of like hovered and like it moved around. Honestly, it was close enough that it would have maybe went over another 5 yards if he could have probably got about 68 yards around there. Maybe it was just going over. Definitely had some room, but I don't know really how much more. But nonetheless, he made it over, and he got the record for the team and also the stadium in general in this one. Then we got, again, taking care of business, number 23, Texas A&M against Arkansas, Pine Bluff, as it was 67-7 in this one. Morton going for Texas Tech, 16 for 20, 201 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So very, very efficient in this. And going for a long one, that's a lot. That's 67. That's congrats on that. 67-7. Only points coming for Arkansas was in the fourth quarter. Then we got coming in here was another actually not too bad of a blowout here. Number 24 Tennessee against unranked Syracuse, and at first Tennessee was really just giving it to them. And then we have Syracuse actually kind of slightly came back here. We have, of course, in the first quarter, we actually had a 17-0, and then we had another 2 touchdowns for Tennessee in the second quarter, with 2 coming for Syracuse. And along there, it was actually very close, 7-6 for Tennessee, and 7-6 for Tennessee again, as they kind of slightly in a weird way made it a game to a point. But then we have a very good matchup here with the two top 10 teams. Number 6 Notre Dame visiting number 10 Miami, with Carson Beck's first game here in Miami after transferring from Georgia, as he actually really came in clutch here. As we have Miami upsetting Notre Dame here, 27-24, as late seconds here in the end of the game, with the Hurricanes winning. Carson Beck having a pretty good start to his career here in Miami and South Beach, with 20 of 31, 205 yards with 2 touchdowns. And of course, one here coming from rushing of Chamar Brown. Yeah, so yeah, definitely a very good one here. And we had no interceptions for Carson Beck. On the other side for CJ Carr, 19 for 30, 221 yards, and 2 touchdowns with 1 interception on the night. So, hey, it's a very good start to the game here. With also one more to go, we have ranked South Carolina 13 against unranked Virginia Tech. And actually, again, a very close game here. And Virginia Tech looked actually pretty good throughout the actual play. But we have South Carolina coming out with the win, 24-11, with drones for Virginia Tech actually having a very good game. 15 of 35, 221 yards, and 2 interceptions on the game here. And for South Carolina, we had Lenore Sellers going 12 for 19, 209 yards with 1 touchdown. So again, another one going was quite efficient in this one here, with only 19 throws. But of course, there's a good amount of rushing here in this, as we have a rushing touchdown coming from Lenore Sellers. So he actually had both touchdowns here. So Yeah, and then receiving came from Nike Harbor. And so, hey, week 1 down. And not only that, but we also coming up tonight, Labor Day night here, we have the one and only Bill Belichick opening day here again for UNC and his debut game in college football. So, yeah, this is going to be a very awesome game against Texas Tech, TCU in this. So, yeah, should be a fun thing to watch. Obviously, basically everyone who goes to is under them. He is definitely probably making hopefully a very good college winning team down there in North Carolina. My team, let's go UNC here on this. I'm very excited to watch that one, and yeah, but making one. Subscribe to watch that one. Hit down below, and hit that sub button for just any other videos. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Peace.